I'm James Holder. Welcome to Full Court Football 24. With me, I've got former Millwall, Cadiz, Malaga, Plymouth Argyle, Wrexham, Haka, Panalikos, and TK Tonsberg star Cherno Samba. What's happening, mate? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me, man.
Almost forgot Gambian international as well.
Yeah,
big caps in there. I wanna look back a little bit on your journey, but I think before we do get to that point, I want to talk a little bit about the prominence of what people mainly know you for. That being that 15-year-old wonder kid coming through, having the world at your feet, clubs looking at you from all directions. Give us a little insight to that moment before we look back.
It was good times back then. Do you know what I mean? I remember it was just playing for Millwall and scoring so many goals for the youth team, and then it just kicked on from there. And I think it started where my second game for England against Wales. I scored one, made one, and then we won 3-1. So I think that's when it just kicked off. That's when, you know, the big guns came in. And then, as they say, the rest was history.
Someone told me you once scored 132 goals in 30 league games.
32 goals. 32 games.
32 games.
Yeah. That was Millwall under 13s, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah. It was just, you know, for me, it was like I could always score goals. And, you know, I was never fazed by not scoring goals, you know. And I could score all types of goals as well. The thing was, a lot of people, even in my stats in the Championship Manager, they put my heading ability very high, which that was my weakest thing, because my head wasn't. I wasn't the best at heading the ball. But a lot of people thought I could. But yeah, that was my weakest. But, you know, I could score all types of goals, you know, tap-ins, outside the box, you know, all them sort of goals. So, yeah, I was born to score goals, man.
The hype around you was so big, and so many people were talking about you within the game, and fans of obviously the Championship Manager series. Is it true that Michael Owen phoned you up personally to try to convince you that Liverpool would be a good place for you?
Yeah, it was after I went to Liverpool, and it was Man United, Leeds at the time, Arsenal and Liverpool. So when I went to Liverpool, I fell in love with the place. And
they were the teams that were all looking for.
They were looking for me. So I had to go to all of those clubs to see how I fit in and see if I like it. And even though I'm a Manchester United fan, I end up picking Liverpool, because when I went there, the way they, you know, made me feel welcome, really, really good. So I remember Gerard Houllier asking me who was my favourite player at the time, and obviously it was Michael. He was just, you know, phenomenal for England and Liverpool. So I came back to make a decision. And before I did, Michael phoned me 2 weeks before and said, look, I think it'll be a great honour to play with you at Liverpool. And that just turned my head.
What, he actually phoned up your house?
No, he phoned my mobile, actually. I had a mobile phone.
Really?
Yeah, I was on the school bus. And my friends didn't believe that it was Michael, so I had to put him on loudspeaker so everyone could hear it. And he was just saying, look, I think it'll be a great fit for you here. We'll look after you. It's a family club. It's a great club. A lot of tradition. So it'd be good to play with you. And, you know, I couldn't let Michael down, could I, after that conversation? So
this is incredible.
Yeah.
We're going to go through all this and get to this. But I think to get to this point and show how you got there and the journey, I think we need to take it right back a little bit. So I know you was born in Gambia. Talk to me about what you remember from your early days in Gambia.
Not much, because I left there when I was 6 years old. But all I can remember was there was a massive football field opposite our house where we lived. And I would just stay out there, play every single day, you know. So I came here when I was 6 years old to reunite with my mom and my brother. And at first it was, you know, I didn't think of football. I was just enjoying myself. I was just a little kid that just fall in love with football, just loved the game. But then things started happening that I started taking it serious when I remember when I was 10, playing for my school team, Oliver Goldsmith. And you know, at first, the PE teacher put me on the bench, and then after I had to go in goal. So I was standing in goal for about 5-10 minutes, but the ball wasn't coming to me. So when the ball came, I just thought, you know what, I'm not passing this. So I got the ball, ran from the goalie, from the post, and all the way, and then just scored. And then everyone go absolutely mental, and that was for me. I said, I'm not getting back in goal, so because my dad is a goalie, you know, so probably I was gonna, you know, end up being there, but that changed everything after that. So yeah, and then from then I went to Mottingham Youth, and then from there Millwall, and then it just kicked off.
These days at Mottingham Youth, I know you're from Peckham. Your family initially settled in Watford before moving to Peckham, South East London. Playing for Mottingham Youth, did you know at that stage that you were becoming a special talent and you had the ability to go further than what you were playing?
Yes, because at 10, there was a guy that was watching one of our school games, and then after the game he was asking, who's that number 10 and how old is he? You know, so he came and spoke to me and said, look, I think you've got unbelievable talent and I think you can play at the highest level. I didn't think nothing of it. I thought, what are you talking about? So he said, look, I want to speak to your mum and dad. And then that's it. So when he came and spoke to mum and dad, that's when it hit home to say, right, hold on a minute here, you know, for someone to spot your talent and telling you this, because I was only a kid. But still then, I didn't think anything of it, just still wanted to enjoy myself and just play football. So when I went to Mottingham, start scoring goals, I think it started hitting home when I actually went to Millwall. Just before I got to Millwall, that's when I thought, there could be a career here. Yeah.
Didn't Millwall take a whole group of you lot from Mottingham? Weren't there a whole team of you boys that impressed enough to get taken to Millwall?
Yeah, I think it was about 6, 7 of us. We were just dominating all the Sunday League teams. We were just scoring goals. We had a striker, we had a centre back, a midfielder, a winger. So we just gelled amongst ourselves. And Millwall came. It was actually Millwall, West Ham, and Charlton. But
really,
yeah. Millwall, Charlton, and West Ham were interested, but because I lived in Peckham, so Millwall was no brainer.
It's like your local
club. My local club. Do you know what I mean? So my mum said, right, you're going Millwall because it's easier to commute. It's easier for you to drop you to training and back and all that stuff. So yeah, so we ended up going Millwall.
Talk to me about your first experience of going to Millwall as a youth player, as a young sort of aspiring professional footballer.
It was exciting, and I just wanted to know what it would be like in that kind of environment. And I was eager. I was very confident. I always had a confidence in my ability. I knew I would sail through or whatever, because I was the type of person where if I wanted to do something, I would do it. And I knew that, I had that ability. I was fit. I just needed someone to guide me to the next level. So I was excited. It was mixed feelings, to be honest, because I realized right when I first got there that you had to be a little bit more professional. Where at Sunday League, I could do whatever I want in terms of how I play and stuff. But
you could really express yourself with the ball and stuff.
Exactly. So, but going to a professional club, it's like, you have to then, they're going to be teaching you how to play and all that stuff. But that still didn't, I did what I had to do, but my natural ability was still going for me as well, because I think that was key for me. That's why I was better than most of my peers.
See, at that age of sort of 11 and 12, would you have any interactions with the first team players at that stage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We eat together, and
really?
Yeah. We eat together. When you go into pro at those days, we were like we do some of their boots, so we have to wash their boots and clean their boots and that. And I used to look forward to that because every Christmas you get a tip. I used to do Tim Cahill, Stephen Reid, Paul Ifill, and Neil Harris.
What? Yeah, that's some good players.
That's a good player, exactly.
Were they good tippers?
Nah, not really. It was only Tim Cahill. Tim Cahill used to look after me. And
really?
Ive did as well. Paul Ifill did. But Stephen Reid was stingy, man. He didn't give me nothing. And Chops as well, Neil Harris, he didn't give me nothing either.
We've had the pleasure of having Stephen Reid on the channel. So yeah, it's interesting the fact to know that. If you're watching that, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. He owes me some tips there, man. He always used to make me clean it so much as well. So every time I clean, he was always moaning and saying it's not clean, it's not good enough. So, but I've learned from those legends. You know what I mean? The way they conduct themselves in around the training ground, and there's always have time to talk to you. Every time you come across with them, they say, "Look, how you doing?" And that you're right, yeah. So they always encourage you as well, and great bunch of lads.
Fantastic to hear that, because we've heard from a lot of other players at senior clubs that weren't always the case. They didn't feel that was always the way.
Millwall was a tight knit, to be honest.
That's
It was really tight knit. The senior pros, they were always looking after us. You know, there's always banter, obviously, and you know, killing each other's clothes and trainers and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah, but you know, especially those guys that I mentioned, they've always, you know, had time for me.
Yeah.
And someone that I'll always mention as well is Leon Constantine. He was very good with me as well. You know, he's always, you know, checking how I was doing. And because he was a striker as well. And I used to look up to him a lot as well. So he's always, you know, checking what I was doing and saying, sometimes when we're training, so, oh, you should have done it this way, or, you know.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't think he knows how the impact he had on me.
How much influence
he had on me. Leon Constantine, I don't think he actually realised that till today.
Man like LC. Speaking to him the other day, actually, we were trying to get him to come on. He's he's going to appear.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Any stories from that moment in time involving those guys and the first team players that sort of stand out in your mind, or anything you can share with us?
Not really. All I know is they always used to banter each other, and they used to kill people, especially me as well. I remember when I first got my first car at 17, and it was a brand new 206. Just came out, and
you must have been really happy.
I was so happy, but they absolutely hammered me. What are you doing with that? And it was bright blue, and you know, everyone said, "Hey, what is he doing with that?" So yeah, but they were great lads. There were always things going up and down in the training ground. So yeah,
you always played a year up at Millwall.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that season again at Millwall, when you were probably, again, I guess, 13, scoring 132 goals in 30 games. Intense record.
It was unbelievable. It was 32 games, by the way. Yeah, 32 games. And it was just, you know, I could just score goals. You know, sometimes I was scoring 5, 6 a game. Do you know what I mean? It was nothing that I had to think about. It was natural. It was natural. And my strength was to come deep, pick up the ball and turn. And I was very explosive. Now, if I turn, you won't catch me. So, you know, I used to always, you know, I was very explosive going forward. So that helped.
Such a mad record, considering you're playing a year up as well for Millwall. Such an impressive thing.
And by the way, no one has broke that record yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I think at schoolboy level, it was Michael Owen that had it, and I took it off him. And I think, you know, nobody has still broken it yet. You can go and check that out. Yeah, so it's a good thing. Yeah.
Talk to me about the next season. I'm guessing at this point they're trying to integrate you more with the first team.
Yeah.
So you would be training with the first team and the reserves a lot more regularly.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And then Mark McGee came in, and then straight away he took me with the first team, and then we went to Germany pre-season. And I thought I was going to be with the first team. So I went with the first. I remember Steve Claridge was there, another character.
What was Steve Claridge like?
He's top, man. I remember he used to have his shin guards, like, it's so small. I'm like, what are you doing with that? He goes, nah, don't worry about it. But that was his thing, do you know what I mean? But he was
like the tiniest impact.
Yeah, but
brilliant.
He helped me along as well. He helped me along, you know, because he was always encouraging me. And I remember one time I had a groin injury. And we were running on the treadmill, coming back from the injury. He was injured as well, coming back, and we was running on the treadmill. And he was asking me how was my groin and stuff. I said, yeah, still I can feel it a little bit. He goes, right, what do you do at home when you get home? I said, I don't do nothing. All I do is just sit in one place and just in the sofa. And he goes, well, that's the problem. Get out of the sofa and start walking and doing stuff with it. Don't just sit in one place. And I thought, but I'm sure that I'm told to be resting it. But he said, right, you've got to be active as well. And that's the first time I actually realised what he was saying was right. So sometimes you got to, you know, move it about and stuff. But, you know, a little common sense like that. But he was always nice. It was always nice to me. And Peter Sweeney, you know, all of them, Marvin Elliott, Charlie Earn, you know, my mates as well, Goma, Alex and Charles, you know, Jermaine Dan. It was like good times at Millwall, really good times, man. You know, I get goosebumps talking about it now, do you know what I mean? Because I really enjoyed my time there at that time.
Did you get on well with Mark McGee?
At first I did. I don't know what happened after, because he was the first one that gave me my chance to go and take me with the first team pre-season to Germany, as I said. And I played some games there. So, but when we came back, then he said to me that I had to go back with the reserves. So I was a bit taken back by that because I thought I did well at pre-season, and I thought I was just pushing on now. But then we said, and this time I think, I was only 17. I was 17. So what I think that hindered my development as well was, as you said earlier, I was playing always year above my age. So when I was 17, I was playing for 2 years above my age, under 19s, you understand, and reserves and stuff. 18, I'm playing for under 19s and reserve. 19, I'm still playing for under 19, which means I haven't developed. So if I'm playing for under 19s at age of 16, 17, by the time I'm 19, I should be playing for the first team regular. So I think that affected my development because, I wasn't pushed hard enough.
Coming back to that end of that season when you're literally playing reserve football, you're in the England setup for the England under 18s as well. Just have a little focus on that. That must have been brilliant to be involved with.
It was. I played for England when I was 15. I started playing when I was 15. So 15s, I was playing a year above my age with the likes of David Bentley, Darren Bent, Glenn Johnson, John Spicer, those people. They're older than me, but I was playing at that age group. So I was always playing a year above my age. So at 15, I was playing a year above my age for England. 16, the same. 17, then my ex-England manager, Dick Bate, who he passed away 2 years ago, said to me that I can also come back and play for my own age group, which was the likes of Wayne Rooney and Wayne Routledge, that era. So I was doing both. So I was playing one above my age and then my age group. But going away with England, it was like England was my football club instead of Millwall. Because I get more joy and happiness going away with England than playing for Millwall at the time. So every time the call-up came, I'm like, yep, I was so gassed and so happy, excited. And so I didn't want the England trips to end, because coming back to me, I was like, oh, I have to go back and play, where I didn't want to be I wasn't developing, so I didn't want to be where I was. But it was one of them things. But I was excited of going away with England. It's one of my proudest moments of my life.
It's at this point where your name really starts to circulate. You're starting to get out there even more. The game, Championship Manager, it's lifted your whole stock and your whole profile right up sky high.
It was this time at 15. That's when the big guns start calling. Because of my goals ratios and playing for England as well, playing that game against Wales, scoring that goal. And that's when the pressure started hitting me.
Really?
Yeah. At age of 15, that's when the pressure started hitting me, because I was tipped then to win the World Cup for England 2006 at the age of 15.
That must be some pressure for that to deal
with. Exactly. So I took it on my shoulder, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew where I was headed. But I was still young, and it was pressure. You can imagine the whole nation talking about Cherno win the World Cup for 2006. That's pressure itself, And so that was always at the back of my mind, and that's the time scale where the Championship Manager came out for me, and my stats was just unbelievable because of what I was doing at youth level and for England as well. So they just pair what would happen and then just, make it this phenomenal computer guy that's better than everyone in the world. So, so you can imagine that as well. So that being the best in the game and also talked about it at a 15, 16-year-old is a lot of pressure on your shoulder. And what made it worse was when Millwall didn't let me go to Liverpool for £2 million. That's just crashed my world.
Before we get to that bit, let's talk about you going and look around and talking to different clubs. Because I'm guessing Millwall wouldn't have been best pleased that maybe their star asset, the man tipped to lead the country to glory in the World Cup of 2006, is potentially going to leave other clubs. Did you notice there was a change in the way you were treated at that time?
I think so. I think that's when everything went, pear-shaped with them, because I was tuttering around everywhere. The media would hype everything. I had helicopters in my house with the media, and it's just crazy. It was just absolutely mad. So Theo, who was the chairman at the time, I don't think he was well pleased with that. So the hype around it was a lot, and I think that actually changed things, because I was asked as well if I wanted to go, and yeah, I want to go because you want to be successful whatever you do. So playing at the highest level with one of the best teams in the world, you would take that. And as a kid, that was my dream. So so when I was asked that would I want to go, I said of course I would want to go. So I think that changed a lot of things. Because when the deal didn't go through and I came back, had to come back to Millwall, that's when I realised, yep, it has the damage and it affected me throughout our relationships.
Did Alex Ferguson try to sign you for Manchester United?
Yeah. He put in a £2 million bid as well, and Arsenal and Leeds at the time, David O'Leary. And
they had some team at the time.
Yeah,
as well,
it was
Leeds.
a big team, but it's still, it's a big team, but just like in the championship. But yeah, it was a big team. It was a big team. They had Mag Viduka, that type of players. But yeah, so it was Manchester United, Leeds, Arsenal, and Liverpool.
Let's talk about when you met Gerard Houllier at Liverpool.
When I met Gerard Houllier, it was God sent, honestly. He was the nicest man you could ever meet. I remember he said to me, son, because these are the times when they couldn't agree anything with Millwall. Things were heating up and it looks like whatever. And he just tapped me in the back and said, son, we want you, we love you, we like you, we'll get you. And
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly, I'll never forget those words. Son, we want you, we like you, we love, and we'll get you. And those words, for me, it was like a relief, but at the same time as well, that's when the alarm bell started ringing for me. Because for me, I was a child, I was a kid, but I was a very street smart from especially where I brought up in Peckham. Do you know what I mean? So when someone said to you, oh, don't worry, then you should be worried, because it's just words. So when I heard, son, don't worry, we like you, we love you, and we'll get you, that don't worry thing started playing in my head, and I was starting, alarm bell started ringing. So, but really nice guy, really nice guy, made me feel so welcome. Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Emil Heskey as well.
You met them guys?
Yeah, all of them. Steven Gerrard as well. All of them, mate. Honestly, I was, I couldn't ask for a better teammates if I could go there.
Did any of them mention your football manager character?
No, they didn't. No one didn't. Even these times, I didn't sort of know what was going on with Championship Manager. Just later on, when I came back to Millwall, that's when you heard about Football Manager, Championship Manager. I said, what is that? I said, you're unbelievable at it. So I just said, all right. So I just went and bought it, looked at it, and I thought, wow.
What was your interactions like with Gerard and those players? Do you remember
really
anything?
nice. Yeah, top people, especially Michael and Robbie Fowler as well. They always, spoke to me and said, how are you, and stuff like that. So, particularly Michael. Michael was really instrumental for me to go there. He was really put the work in, definitely. And like I said, I couldn't let him down after that, could I? So...
Cut back to receiving that phone call, going home, telling your friends and family what's going on, and then to receiving that call from Michael Owen.
Unbelievable. Till today, when I talk about it, it's like, he was like my hero sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? He just burst into the scene. He was doing well for Liverpool and England. And to have that sort of legend calling your phone, telling you it'd be a privilege to play with you. Come on. Life couldn't get any better than that, you know what I mean?
So I'm guessing the negotiations with Liverpool are at a stalemate with Millwall.
Yeah,
but what is going on?
The thing is, I didn't know after, once, I don't know what happened after, Millwall said, nope, he's not going, and blah, blah, they stuck to their ground. But I didn't know nothing what was going on after 2 weeks. Nothing. My agent didn't tell me anything. My mom didn't tell me anything. My dad didn't tell me anything. Millwall didn't tell me anything. Liverpool didn't tell me. No one didn't tell me. Everyone just, didn't say nothing to me. After 2 weeks, my dad called me down from upstairs to the kitchen. So I came down and he said, I don't know if you've realised your mom's not the best lately. So I said, yeah, I've realised that for the past week she's been a bit, I said, yeah, because she's disappointed, she's hurt, and she's just hurt for you. She's so, feel sorry for you. I said, why? What's happening? Well, you're not going to Liverpool. The deal's off. Oh, James, I remember my world just crushed right there and then. And I remember just dropping on the kitchen floor, just crying my eyes out, crying. So my dad trying to pick me up and say, look, these things happen, son. I said, no, I don't want nothing to do with football. I don't want to play football again. I don't want anything to do with football. I'm quitting, you know, all this stuff, emotions, obviously. But something bizarre happened at that kitchen floor that I was crying. I thought to myself, right, I don't want nothing to do with football, but however, if I was to stay back in football, all I cared about was to make sure that I'm financially stable after football. I didn't care about anything else. I was 15 and I'm thinking like that.
It's a crazy mindset for a
Mental,
15-year-old to
mental.
have,
For whatever that reason was, I said to myself, if I do stay back in the game, I want to make sure financially I'm stable to look after myself and my family. And that was my motivation after that.
So you noticed the mood was different from the Millwall coaches,
Yeah, so
from your point of view, from
yeah,
the
yeah,
guys, because no doubt you would have been shown so much love.
Yeah.
From them guys.
Yeah, so after that, I didn't play football for 6 months. I said,
6 months?
I stayed out. I just said, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm not interested. And that was it. So my mom and dad said, look.
No training, nothing?
No training, nothing for 6 months.
What did you do?
Just go school and back and nothing. Nothing, just stay out with my mates and just play in the park. Just enjoy myself. But then my mom and dad said, look, you got God's given talent. My best friends, my friends said, look, you got God's given talent. Just go back, you know. And then Millwall were obviously trying to persuade me to come back as well. So they've got the chairman, the sporting, you know, some of the figures at Millwall to come and speak to my mom and dad and speak to me as well. So we had a meeting. So eventually we sat down, trust everything out. So I went back. But going back, my heart was gone already. I had lost appetite for the game. I was just going back for the money. I just said, right, as I said, you know, when I was down there, I said, right, I'll go back, but I have to do what I have to do. So at 15, I fell out of love with the game already. Yeah.
It's one of the saddest things ever.
Yeah. It happens. It happened for me. And, you know, talking about it now, I get sad and angry with that because but football got out of me where it was my passion and my love, but I fell out with it at that young age, you know. And it's sad because after I did enjoy it, I was just doing it for a job to see how much I can make for after football. But I didn't enjoy it. I was just doing it. And it's sad of me saying that because that wasn't the motivation at all at first. It was just to enjoy it and just love the game. Love the game. I owe football a lot. And it was just something where, you know, I gave my heart for football. So, yeah, I get emotional talking about it because, you know, it's football. Yeah.
Do you feel the pressures of being so well thought of and so highly rated, for rightly so, for your own achievements in youth level football, and that on top of it magnified by the way your cult status in Championship Manager sort of materialised? Do you think that pressures as well?
Of course.
Trying to be that guy, trying to be that character in that game. Then pressures were a hard thing for you to deal with at that age.
Absolutely. Every game that I played, I had to do 110%. I had to do it anyway, but it was more of, as well, a pressure with it. Cherno's playing. Has he scored? Did he do well? So it's always at the back of my mind. And I used to compare my stats in the computer game to how I play. So my opponents will be saying, oh, I know you're fast, but you're not going to do that with me today. And I'm like, oh, I bet I will. We'll see. So I used to say, right, it says my explosiveness is 19, so I've got to be quick. So it was confusing. It was confusing. And I used to, you know, compare that.
So you'd find yourself trying to train to get your stats to equally
to how I'm playing
on the screen.
Exactly.
Mental.
And it's a lot of pressure because, you know, it's but listen, having said all that, this is the world, this is life. There's pressure anyway. You know, a normal person doing a job is a pressure itself, let alone
when you look back
privilege.
at it now, it's easier for you to handle and maybe explain because you're older. But at 15, it's probably a different way of taking it in.
Exactly. It's a balance for me. And I always say this, listen, Millwall did what they had to do and not, but part of it as well, I blame myself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror to see if you've given enough. And for me, I've got this philosophy where for you to move on in life, you have to check yourself and admit your mistakes to move on. So part of it is my fault because when I went back, I was only 15, 16. So it's not like I've started to even finish. So I should have gone back, apply myself properly, work harder, train harder, but I wasn't doing that. For example, if we had to do 10 doggies, I probably want to do about 4 and say, oh, my leg, and pull out. If we're doing about shooting practice for about half an hour, I want to probably do about 5 minutes. So I didn't apply myself properly. So it's not nothing to do with, it's a shared responsibility here. Yes, I was young, 15. Millwall should have taken care of me a bit better, but part of it was my fault as well, because I should have applied myself and know what I wanted and, work harder. Because there's no shortcuts in life, as I always say. There's no shortcuts in life, let alone in football.
Explain to me the decision that your contract wasn't going to be renewed at Millwall. Can you talk me through that day?
Yeah, so after, when I was 15 and that, I was guaranteed by the time I'm 17 a 3-year professional contract. So I was guaranteed that. So when I hit 17, I signed a professional contract that takes me to 19. So 19, it was Dennis Wise who was the manager. And
interesting.
Yeah. Me and Dennis, we got on well. We got on really well. And when he was a player, because he came there as a player manager, as a player first, and then Matt McGee got the sacked, then he became the manager. So when he was a manager, when he was a player, we got on really well. He always spoke to me and advised me and, keep going. Then he became the manager and everything changes. So,
really?
Yeah. So he took me to a game against Bradford. We had a league game against Bradford, in Bradford. And on the coach, I was adamant that I was going to be on the bench. So we got to Bradford, said the team, and I was sitting in the lounge with Marvin Elliott, and I'll never forget this. And he came and said, Marvin's on the bench and I'm not on the bench. And that just killed it for me. So I didn't say nothing, and then that was it. And then after that, yeah, it was that. Then I left. Yeah. I'll just say let's leave is that.
Not the best relationship way to end it for you and Dennis.
Nah, not the best relationship. So yeah. But luckily, a club in Spain were monitoring my situation, and they realised that I was not renewing my contract with Millwall, and they just snapped me up, gave me a 4-year contract. Talk
to me about moving to Spain, moving to Cadiz, being sort of 19 at that stage.
Yeah, 19. It was an eye-opener. I've never lived anywhere else or gone anywhere by myself.
So you've gone from literally Peckham
yeah, exactly, to Spain to Cadiz, where it's there sort of, it's not like Barcelona or Madrid or something like, do you know what I mean? This is like, south of Spain, but it's really nice, beautiful. But it was an eye-opener. I couldn't speak the language. I was 19, I had to live by myself. At first, when I got there, it was beautiful. The weather's nice, food is nice, football is beautiful. What more do you want? Do you know what I mean? But so after 3 months into my contract, I thought, wow, this is going to be tough. So what I did, I actually told the club, I said, look, I need a tutor because I want to learn the language as quickly as possible.
So you could integrate with your teammates.
That was vital for me. Very important. Because the first 3 months, I could see myself just being isolated when they speak in Spanish and I couldn't speak Spanish. And it was horrible. So I thought, so for me to get involved, I have to know the language. So I said to the club, I said, you guys have to provide a tutor for me. I need to learn this language. And it took me 8 months. Now I can speak fluent.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a bonus that, exactly. So, and it took me 8 months. The tutor, I would go to the tutor, she will come to my house and, vice versa. And it was just going on for 8 months.
You fully learned the full language in 8 months?
8 months. Unbelievable. Jesus. Yeah. And I remember at first at training, when we were playing, there was a little bit of racism going on. Some of the players,
from the Spanish players,
yeah, and they would say like, "Don't pass it to the black kid. Don't pass it to the black kid." Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's really that bad. Yeah.
So they just don't want you to shine. Or
I don't know.
Don't want you in the team,
yeah. Don't pass it to the black kid. Nobody's gonna like it, and everyone's just laughing as well. So
that's mental.
Yeah. So when I learned the language, it's a funny story here, actually. So when I learned the language, I didn't say nothing. So when we came in, they said again, when we're training, don't pass the black kid, don't pass. And I responded in Spanish, pass it to the black kid, pass it to the black and then after that, everyone just, integrated with me and just loved me after that. Because I was the type of person, I'm the type of person that those things don't faze me, you know. I think it's just sometimes it's ignorant, sometimes they don't realize what they're doing or saying. But instead of you moping around with it and teach them, educate them. You know, I could have been just saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say it. I just said, yeah, pass it. I made it into a fun, really. And then they just fell in love with me after that, you know, put me like their own. So
after that, did you feel accepted by your teammates? And did the sort of the incidents of racism, as you put it, stop?
No, it didn't stop. Not from my teammates, but it happened when we play a game against other teams. I remember walking down on the street, and these kids, they were walking with their mum. There was about 2 of them. And then they just ran to me and just said, "Mami, mami, negro, negro." Like, negro means black in Spanish. So they came to me and then they started stroking me like a dog. And then the mum, like, she just went pale. She was just so embarrassed. Oh, I'm sorry and stuff. I said, no.
Would you be like the first black person they'd ever seen?
Exactly, yeah. So that's what it was. So I said to the mum, I said, look, don't worry. They haven't seen a black person before. So I had to educate the kid. I said, look, this is your color. This is my color. There are different colors. You're going to see that everywhere you go in the world. So I just educated them in Spanish. And then the mum was like, oh, thank you, and this and that. And then that was it. So things like that don't bother me because I know how to handle myself and things, you know. But so, yeah, there was racism against other teams and stuff. But then, you know, it was what it was back then. And, well, still is, which is a shame. But so I enjoy my time. I really enjoy my time in Spain. But then something was triggering my head as well, because at these times I was still playing for England. But the players that I was playing with England, some of them are playing first in football in the Premiership.
Well, they're all starting to kick on now.
Kicking
all
on
your
in the Premiership.
sort of really...
Exactly. And they're starting regulars in the Premiership. Yeah. I mean, Cadiz, not being disrespectful, but, you know...
You just didn't feel you was in the shop window.
Exactly.
To get these opportunities.
Exactly. And bear in mind, these times, there's not many English players abroad. These times, there was only David Beckham, Michael Owen, that was at Madrid, and Steve McManaman. So it was hard. It was difficult. It was really difficult. So I felt that I failed in my own country, and I had to shift out.
You genuinely felt that?
Yeah. I felt that. Constant. I felt that I failed in my own country, and I had to be shipped out to Spain. And I was having nightmares. I was thinking about the deal at Liverpool. I was looking at my peers playing in the Premiership week in, week out, and that was eating me away, James. It was killing me. Not grudge or jealousy or anything, but just where I am and where they are. What have I done wrong, or what's happening?
Especially being up so high as well.
Exactly.
To then drop, like you said in your own words,
exactly.
Where you are.
Yeah. So I was isolated. I was hurt. And the thing is, you know, a lot of people would say, just be quiet. You was getting paid so well, because I was getting paid. I was one of the best paid players in the club, getting paid so well. My apartment was looking over the beach. Good weather, good food, beautiful football. What more do you want? But I was isolated. I was hurt. I was bitter with life. I was angry.
You think you was like in a sort of a depressed stage?
I was depressed. I was very depressed. So what I used to do, I used to go to the physio room and just pinch as much as tablets that I could pinch.
Really?
And just wanted to sleep myself to sleep. And I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to be here. So after training, you know, we'll start training so early and finish so early as well, because of the sun comes out so early. So by 10 o'clock, 11, we're finished. So I've got the whole day doing nothing. So I didn't want to go home after training. I would stay in the training ground until about 12. You know, they had to drag me out of the training ground because I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to be just going to that flat just by myself. And so I used to just take tablets and then just, you know, thinking about what's happened at Liverpool, thinking about my peers, thinking about, I think that I failed in my own country. I just wanted to end my own life, man. Yeah. I was so depressed. And I was going through a mental breakdown. Nobody knew. I didn't talk to no one about it. I didn't talk to anybody about it. At this time, I had a girlfriend who couldn't come and stay with me because she was young as well, you know. So one day I overdosed myself and then just was on the floor. So there was a guy that used to pick me up to go training. So he come on, normally he called my phone and I just come downstairs, but he was calling, no one answered. So he came up, he said, "No, this is not right. Cherno's the first person to wait for me." So he came upstairs, knocked on the door, no one answered. So he thought, right, there's something definitely not right. So he, call it faith. He just brought the door in and he just saw me lying there. So he called the paramedics. I went and I woke up from it, went to the hospital. So when I woke up, I hated myself for doing it because that was not my character. I'm a bubbly person, very down to earth, and I'm just a happy chap. Do you know what I mean? So when it happened, I hated myself for it. But I was mental. I was going through a mental breakdown. I just didn't want to be here. And I was scared to speak out, to speak to anybody. I was the type of person where you wouldn't know what was going through my head. And
I think that was with the pride and obviously with the football and
the pride
being such a small network and everybody knowing everything.
The pride and looking you as you're weak, and I was not a weak person. Looking at you like, oh, you're weak. Having said that, I think I was weak for not speaking out. Because
different times.
Absolutely, I think I was weak for not speaking out, because I will advise anybody, listen, anything going for your head, speak to anybody. Speak to people. Speak to your dog, your cat, your wife, your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. But you have to speak to someone.
There are, like we said, there are plenty of organisations out there as well.
Exactly.
That really are there.
Exactly.
For that
but you have to.
reason.
You have to speak to someone, because I didn't want to speak to anybody. Nobody knew until I wrote my book. That's what I went through. Not even my best friend. Not even my mom. Not my dad.
Do you think your mate and teammate out there saved your life that day?
He did. Yeah. He did. He actually did. God, obviously, because I believe in God, and obviously him as well. I owed him that. I don't like mentioning his name because he doesn't want me to mention his name either. I don't talk about him anywhere, but he knows who he is, and I know who he is. So yeah, we still talk.
How long did it take you to recover emotionally, mentally, from that moment, or enough to recover to resume your life and your playing career?
Funnily enough, James, I only recovered when my autobiography came out 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic
Absolutely.
to share everything that happened to you.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
When I was going through it, it was a therapy for me.
So do you think you still were in a little bit of a shock with this thing over the years?
Yeah. It still comes and go. It was still coming on my head and stuff, but it wasn't as bad as when I was in Spain. But I could think about it and then just, sometimes it get me somehow and stuff. And then writing the book, it's like the whole world is just off my shoulder.
Yeah.
And everybody knows. Yeah. And when I retired as well. When I retired.
Really?
Yeah. When I retired, I don't miss the game at all. I don't miss it. No chance. When I retired, it was like the whole world was just off my shoulder. It's a pressure. Constantly having to be the best, So yeah, it was like the day. I remember when I was going to retire and I spoke to my agent and I said to him, obviously this is what we're going to go for. And he goes, right. So he wrote me a statement and I had to put it out first. It took me 2 days before I put it out. Every time I was about to press the button, I was scared to do it. I was scared to do how people perceive it. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, right, this is it. This is the end of my career. So I was really, really scared to do it. But once I've done it and it went out and people reached out and the media reached out, everyone is going through, it's like,
relief.
Oh, God. It was the best day of my life, honestly, man. Yeah. It's sad of saying that.
It's such a polar opposite to how you would have expected your career at 15 to turn out.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's incredible.
Yeah. And then writing the book has just put the icing on the cake. Yeah. It's just clean everything. I'm a different person, as you can see. Smiley again, bubbly. Life is good. Life is going well for me. I'm grateful. And I always say this, a lot of people say, you could have played at the highest level. Yes, I get that. But I set out 3 goals in life. That's what I set out. When I started coming up, I set out 3 goals in life. Because I remember sitting down in my house, watching the Victory Shield for England. And that's when I just quickly in my head, this is what I want to do. Which was, I want to become a professional footballer. I want to play for England. seeing what they're doing, and also play for Gambia. Whether senior level, whichever one. But I want to do that once. And I've done 3 of that. I played for England. I played for Gambia at senior level. And I've become a professional footballer. How many people can say they've achieved their goal their life goal?
Very fantastic, very interesting
there
point.
You go. There you go.
I want to look back when you left Spain and went to Plymouth, Plymouth Argyle. You've got your head together a little bit. You're looking for a way out of Spain at this point. The agent calls you and says there's interest from Plymouth Argyle. What goes through your mind?
Well, at the time, my girlfriend came over. We got married because I got married very young.
In Spain?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got married, and then she got pregnant. So she was homesick. I was homesick as well. And I said, I don't want my kids to be born in Spain. I want them to be born in England. So it came at the right time. So when my agent called me and said, right, you'll be going to Plymouth. And I was like, well, it's not near Peckham, but it's back home. Do you know what I mean? Home soil. So yeah, I just packed my stuff and I could be, just get on the first flight. And it was good. It was good for me because Ian Holloway at the time, I had to go there and play a game. And then after that, it was like, yeah.
Like a trial game?
Yeah. Yes, to see me and that. And then, and he snapped me at the last minute transfer deadline. Yeah.
What's it like to be signed on deadline day?
It's nerve-wracking. It's annoying. It can be annoying.
Really?
Yeah, it can be annoying because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. 1 minute you're here, next minute you have to just get up and just go somewhere. So it's very unsettling, put it that way. Yeah, it's very unsettling.
What was Ian Holloway like?
Oh, top man. Yeah, I haven't got any bad things about him. I remember one time I was homesick of Peckham. Like I wanted to come back to London. And then after the game, we played against Ipswich. So I tell him a little bit of fib. I know he's probably going to see this, but it's in my book anyway. So if he's seen it, sorry, Gaffer. But after the game, I said, Ian, Gaffer, my mum's sick and she's in hospital. And she goes, so what are you doing here then? What are you doing here? Get on that car and get on that motorway now.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, top man. And this was a game against Saturday after Ipswich. And we had a game again on a Tuesday night. So he said, and I don't want to see you back here until Wednesday. Make sure your mom's fine. That's how he was. He was a family man. And so I got in my car, started driving off, putting my music up, happy days. I'm going back to London for a few days. And then he said to me, before I left, he said, right, and when you get to the hospital, make sure you call me. Let me speak to your mom. I thought, how am I going to get out of this now? But he's that type. So I got home, sorting myself out. But I texted him. I said, Ian, I'm here now. Everything's fine. Mom's recovering. Mom's getting better. And that was it. And I thought, he's going to call me in a minute and say, let me speak to her. But he texted back and said, all right, good on you. I'll see you on Wednesday. And I thought, yes, happy days. But yeah, I told Fibs just to come back to London for a few days.
Brilliant. What was the team like at Plymouth Argyle and what were the characters in the dressing room? Can you remember sort of any stories or anything that stands out from that time?
They were different bunch. I got on well with Barry Hales, Sylvain Ebanks Blake, Scott Sinclair as well when he came on loan to us, Lillian Nallis, Nick Chadwick, Hasni Al Joffrey. Yeah, a few of them. I got on well with most of them. Reuben Reid, they were a nice bunch. We had a great team. Kevin Gallen as well. He came there as well. We had a really, really good team because we were pushing for the Premiership, to go in the Premiership. There was time we were third in the Championship. But then what happened, Leicester came in for Ian Holloway and he left, and then Paul Sturrock came and most of the players, we just left. Yeah.
Do you think once Ian Holloway left,
then it went pear-shaped. Yeah.
The whole team spirit and everybody just wanted out.
Exactly. And obviously, Paul had his own players that he wanted. So we had to move some around. And I was one of them that was not part of his plans. So
is it frustrating when a manager who rates you, who really likes you, wants you to play every week, disappears or goes to a new opportunity, and then the new manager comes in with his new ideas, wants to bring his players in?
It happens.
It must be frustrating.
Of course it's frustrating. It's if any works of life, innit?
It seemed to me you was you like the club. You
Absolutely,
liked
loved it.
You could
It's
see yourself
one of my best
really
clubs.
settling there for a long time.
Loved it. You know, as soon as we got there, the first thing I did, I bought a house there. You know, I still got
Really?
a house. Yeah, still we haven't sold it yet. I've still got it there, so that's why a retirement home. You know, but so I've always, wherever I go to buy a house, I always wanted to do that. You know, but Plymouth is it's dearest to me. It's dearest to me. I love the place, love the people, and every time I go back there, it's like a homecoming for me, and it's a club that is the dearest to my heart. Honestly, well, I wouldn't if I to buy a house there, that I would go there for retirement. So yeah, it's one of my and I don't think they realize how close it is in my heart. Than I don't think they realize, you know, the Plymouth people, because it is very dear to me, very dear. And bear in mind, I was not even there long. Yeah, I was only there for 2 years, couple of years. So, but it's very close to my heart, put it that way.
Did the Plymouth players like a night out? Were that something like antics and players going out? Was that something that happened
Not really,
quite a bit?
not really. You get it everywhere. But not really. They're very professional, very professional. Occasionally you got have a night out. I was at because I don't drink anyway because of my religion.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, I don't drink. I've never drank alcohol in my life, and I don't drink. So, you know, they every time we used to go out, they used to say, you know what, Cherno has more fun with his coke than all of us put together when we drink, and that's just me. You know? I just, you know, I can just hold my own.
Is it annoying being sober though when it's got to that point in the night where people are quite drunk and maybe their inhibitions are dropping down a little bit? Can it be quite frustrating as someone who's not drinking?
Nah, I don't look at them. I don't look at them anyway. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. I still look at them as, you know, they're my friends or whatnot. But I just have a good time with them. So I'm sober, but
brilliant.
I have better time than them that they're drunk. So
and at least you've always got the big man to drive you home afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good times.
Exactly.
Talk to me about what happened next in your career.
Yeah, so after that, as I said, remember bear in mind that I've already told you my motivation was all about financially stable. So I was just going around clubs just to make sure that I'm secured after football. So after that, I went to Finland for a bit. Obviously, was money motivated for that as well.
What was Finland like?
One of the worst places I've been to. I'm sorry to say it.
For what reason did you not like Finland?
They just, sorry Finnish people, but just, they haven't got no sense of humour.
Really?
Nah, no sense of humour.
Do you think it was a language barrier or a culture difference?
Maybe, but they're very reserved, put it that way. They're very, very reserved, you know. I'll come in the change room and say, morning everyone, just, you know, get everyone going. It's like, I'm like, open your mouth and speak, lads. Bloody hell. But yeah, man, it's
what's food like?
It's all right. It's all right. It was all right. And it was just cold. Yeah, it was one of the worst places that I've played in, definitely. But I had to sacrifice it because money was good, you know what I mean?
How long did you stay in Finland for?
I stayed there for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years, yeah. Stayed there 2 years, yeah.
Then did you go to a bit of a warmer climate in Panathinaikos?
Yeah, Panathinaikos. Yeah, Panathinaikos in Greece. That was nice.
That's a bit more.
Lovely. Yeah. That was nice. Similar to Spain, you know.
Yes.
Beautiful football.
Yes.
Beautiful food, you know, Mediterranean, innit?
Greek food,
yeah,
so nice.
Greek food, love it. Weather's great. So I enjoyed there as well.
What was the football out there like?
Football was not bad. Football was good. Football mixed technical and a lot of power as well, you know. A lot of strength. You got to be physical and technical, some of it.
How was your mental health at this stage? Do you feel like you're
I knew what I was doing.
Living in the moment now. You're enjoying things.
Yeah. I was enjoying it, but I knew I was doing it for work. Okay. You understand?
It comes back to that same
thing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're just going to secure the bag, get things done.
Like I said, my appetite gone at the age of 15. So it was just going around and just making sure that I'm financially stable. So having said that, you know, it was good time, some places, like Greece, Plymouth. I really enjoyed my time there. Norway, I enjoyed my time there as well. FK Tonsberg, yeah.
What was all that about?
Yeah, that was crazy. Obviously, again, money driven, why I went there. I was the best high paid player there.
Really? So I'm
yeah.
guessing you're like a big star out there. Then.
Yeah,
There's
well,
a lot of press and a lot of interest.
Yeah. So it helped. It helped because they all knew my background,
The story.
You know, so they always wanted me whether to sell shirts or whatever. So they will always find out my availability and stuff. So, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew where my head was in terms of after football. So I sussed out pretty quickly, you know, this football is very short. Yeah.
Talk to me about what happened after Norway and FK Tonsberg.
Yeah,
Where did we go from there?
Yeah, so after Tonsberg, when I came back, I was without a club. And
is that quite a worrying period for a footballer? When there's not a club,
then nothing's going on. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I can only imagine that.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then, you know, you get leeches on, and, you know, all your mates and that, they run away from you, you know, the hangers on. Yeah, oh, yeah. You know, I remember when I was sponsored by Nike when I was young, I had so many mates, so many aunties, so many uncles, so many moms, so many dads, so many brothers, so many sisters, so many cousins, you know, just to get as much as they can. And
it's that simple.
Simple as, mate. And I used to get them so much stuff at night time, because I used to go to night time and just...
So if you're a sponsored Nike athlete, you can just...
So I just go there and then just get what I want, you know. So you come out £10,000s worth of stuff and just give it to people, trainers, hats, shorts, T-shirts, whatever. Just help people out. But my best friend used to always say to me, "These ain't for you. These people ain't for you." And I always say, "Oh, shut up. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You don't know nothing about football. They're my mates." I found out later that they weren't. So
and he was still there.
He's my best friend. He's my best friend. He's my best friend. We have our business together. We do everything together. So Festus, his name is. And so that, you know,
it must have been hard to deal with.
Oh, you get that. You get that. You know, people are just... James, honestly, I've been battered and stamped so much in life that nothing can faze me no more. I've prepared, you know, there's nothing that can shake me, you know. I've gone through everything what life can throw at you. I'm still standing. And if anything, gain from it and gain experience from it and know what I'm doing now, which is a great place at the moment. So, so these things happen, you know. So after I've left Tonsberg, I came back to England, and then I was coming back from an injury, Tonsberg, a little bit. Then I went to Southport just to keep fit, and I'd done my ankle. Yeah, I broke my ankle there. Then I recovered from it, but I was 29, and pre-season came. I went pre-season with Southport, played a game. About 40 minutes after the game, I knew straight, it's done.
What, your ankle?
No, that. I'm retiring.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was someone that when I had injury, when I was a bit younger, I would recover quick. But the injury, the ankle injury, you know, it was taking its toll a little bit. And so when I came out from it, done a pre-season, ready for first game, as, you know, just keeping fit for a friendly game. Then I played the first 30 minutes and I couldn't run. And I remember there was a ball that, you know, on the channel was chasing it, and I was actually crying while I was running. And I just knew this is it. So after the game, I called my agent, so I said, "It's finished." And I was in tears, and I was just calling him and said, "You go, what do you mean it's finished? What's finished?" I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. And all I was thinking about was the whole years from when I started going through my head, from the minute that I started playing football till now. This is it. Right? This is the end now. This is the end road. And I just started crying. I just had to calm down. I said, "Right, calm down, you know, stop crying. Like, this, what we need to do, we got to get our heads together and stuff now." And I just crying on the phone like a little boy, because I knew this was it now. This was it. And then, so he left me for a couple of days to, you know, soak things in. And then after we sat down and spoke, and then said, "Right, this is what we're gonna do." And then that's when it was out. And then it was a relief, as I said earlier. Yeah.
Did you know ultimately, once you'd pressed that button and it was going to go out, that the response that you were going to get, one from the footballing world, two, I guess, from the gaming community, and three from your general family and friends. But did you know the response was going to be as big as it was?
No. I didn't think the response would be huge and it would be positive. I didn't think that. And to be honest, it was massive. The whole world. You know, we was getting Brazilian televisions contacting my agent to speak to them, you know, and it was all positive. All positive. That amazed me, and that just showed me that even though I doubted myself sometimes in terms of dark times and stuff, dark periods, I had fans that love me, you know, till today. You know, it's funny where when I'm walking on the street or driving my car and the people stop me all the time. You made my life worth living. Do you know what I mean? That's nice to hear.
I still can't believe I'm sitting here with you now. The amount of joy you've brought us as youngsters.
Yeah, you know.
Like, just have you sitting here now, it's a very surreal moment.
Exactly. So it's a privilege to have, and it's an honor for me to know that there are millions of people out there that just, you know, want me to do well, and they're just my fans. So, but when I was playing, I didn't notice it, you know. And just when I retired and I thought, what's the reaction? I didn't think about the reaction, but the reaction was so positive and it went all over the world. And that helped me as well from my recovery in terms of, this is it. I'm glad I've done made the right decision. It was nice. Nice moment. Yeah.
Did you know at that point you was going to go into coaching?
Yeah. You
had a clear vision then from when you retired to what the next step would be for yourself.
At the age of 27, I spoke to my agent and also my England manager, Dick Bate, who passed away.
He's been such a big influence on you. I think we need to really talk about him a little bit, because he's been such a big character and a positive person in your life.
He was my everything. He was my everything. I remember under 17 European Championship, and we were training, and I was training a little bit sloppy. This time they just called Darren Bent into the squad, so he was competing a place with me. And I was training a little bit sloppy. So after training, he got me in his room, and he said, "What's wrong with you? Sort yourself out. What's going on? Because I've picked Darren. He's in the squad. Is that why you're training like that?" I said, no, it's not like that. He goes, "Listen." And he held me and he said, "Listen, you're my number one striker and you will always be my number one striker." And James, what that man did for me, even my own father hasn't. You know, he's everything to me. You know, I get emotional every time I speak about it, because he's no more. Because he shaped my international football. He shaped my life. And he instilled decency in my life. You know, he was my father in football. When it was down, he was there. Anything that I needed, he would be there. At the age of 27, he said, "Right, think about after football. Now then, what are you going to do? Right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do your coaching badges. Start it from now. Step by step." And, man. Yeah, sorry, man. I get emotional when I talk about it, because...
That's all right. But see how much it means to you.
He means a lot to me, man.
I know speaking to you before off camera about him. He was such an important person.
He means a lot to me, and I miss him. I miss him so much, because
I can imagine.
Every time I call, I can't call him anymore, you know? I can't call him anymore. So, yeah.
It's worse when you think about something funny you want to share with someone and you can't bring them. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Or a moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And I could call him anytime.
Yeah.
You know, you call me in Spain, anywhere he's been in around the world, he'll call me and say, well, you know, he was always there for me. I remember when I first met with him, the first thing he said to me was, number one, be a decent human being. And number two, be a good footballer. And that always stays with me. And that's why I tell everybody, you know, he instilled decency in my game, in my life, and shaped my international football and the person that I am today.
You know, safe to say you've become both of them two things.
Yeah.
Both of them two things, my friend.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your coaching and your coaching journey.
So when I was 27, so I'd done my level 1, and then I left it for a bit because I was still playing. So when I finished the game, I went straight into it. done my level 2, my B license, and my A license. So my A license, I did it with Frank Lampard and Graham Lassalle.
Really?
Yeah. And it was good. It was good. You know, I've learned from them as well. And for me, it's to help the next generation of emerging talents. To say that they don't go through what I went through, the pitfall of the game. There's not a better person to teach these kids than myself, because I've been there. I've been in the system.
100%
I've been in the system. There's nobody else to tell these kids, this is the way to do it to get to the top, and this is not the way to do it. And these kids, when I talk to them, they resonate with me. They listen to me because they've seen that I've been there and I've done it. So I get joy coaching them, and you know, it's lovely. It's unbelievable feeling that. And part of the reason why I bought the book to write my autobiography was 2 things. 1, to tell my story to the world, and secondly, to help the next generation of human beings, not just footballers, but human beings. Because, you know, I come out on the street and people say, "Oh, your book saved my life." That's something, James.
It's powerful. It's very powerful.
You know, and I stand there, talk to them. I asked them, because how? And they explained it to me. Said, "Oh," and I read this chapter, and I thought, this is how I need to be. This is how I used to do it. It opened my eyes. It opened my mind. You know, I've learned 1 or 2, and that's. I said, "Do you know what? Thank you so much. This is all I wanted. This is all I wanted." You know, it's accomplished. So, you know, so the coaching side of it is going well. Just crack on. Just carrying on doing what I'm doing. One day, my ultimate goal is one day to lead Gambia to a African Cup of Nation or a World Cup, because they've never qualified.
That would be massive.
Yeah. Hopefully, we might have a chance this time. But if it's not done, I want to be the first person to do it. And if we do it, I still want to be the one to do it one day.
Be some story for Cherno Samba to end up back on Football Manager.
Oh yeah,
as the manager of Gambia.
Do you know what? We need to make a petition for this. They need to do it.
I'm telling you. I can see it now.
I might have to speak to Miles and say, look, put me in the. You need to get what is it called? Coaching Football Manager.
All the coaches are on there.
Yeah.
Everyone's on there. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before we see your star rising again on the game. Did you ever play the game?
I did. A lot of people think I didn't, but I did.
You genuinely played
I did. When my what's it called? My mates came up to me and said, "Oh, you're wicked on the game," and I went and bought it. I played it. I'm like, this is decent. And I started playing it. Yeah, I play it. But
the thing is, you only realised how good you was if you'd played it for a few years.
Yeah.
That's when you realised just how much of a rare talent the game had got.
I was unbelievable on it,
James. The game never got it wrong. It very rarely got it wrong.
Yeah.
I guess with well-documented cases like your American equivalent,
Freddie,
or even sort of someone like Tonton Muka Zola. Them guys.
I've never met them, but I hear about so much of them. Yeah.
Someone's got to get you guys all
together. Apparently, I heard that Freddie don't like it. You know, he thinks that he blames it, part of it, for his career and stuff. But for me,
it's interesting.
That's wrong, because, like I said earlier, you got to take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Life itself is pressured anyway.
Yeah. But do you take responsibility now, looking back for it, or was you able and old enough and mature enough to take responsibility for it?
You can say both.
At the time you were 15 and 16.
You can say both, because I always say, you know, my daughter now, I've got a 13-year-old daughter. She thinks she's a adult already. And I said, for me, I don't think you're an adult until you're 21. Even at 18, I don't think you're an adult.
I think everyone matures differently at different times. And I suppose different environments produce
Exactly.
Different.
Exactly. So for me, you know, you're right. It could be, you know, half and half. At 15, what do you know? So, yeah.
It's interesting. I always wondered, why didn't Freddie Adu in particular reach his potential? Seems very interesting thing to talk about. What does the future hold for you then?
A lot. Like, as you can see, I'm beaming with smile, because a lot of things.
You seem in a very good place.
Absolutely.
Like, I've felt this since we met at the Wonderwall Cup, which was a brilliant event. Great event. You coming again this year?
Well, yeah. Hopefully they'll get in touch with me. I'll definitely come again. Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I scored. You never lose your touch, mate. Yeah, I scored again. So you don't lose your goal scoring ability. So yeah. But yeah, the future's bright, mate. The future's bright. As you probably know, I've got my own football club in the Gambia, who is playing in the Gambian top division. Try to help as much as I can to give back. My coaching, I'm doing that, and you know, life couldn't be any greater. Honestly, life couldn't be any greater.
So you founded your own football club or your football academy?
Yeah. So it was 2000.
Self-funded as well.
Yeah. No
brilliant,
sponsors or anything.
That's brilliant.
Comes from my own pocket. Yeah, me and one of my partners. Yeah, just two of us.
So all that time you was trying to secure the bag through football.
Oh, there you go, helping somebody else.
You're now going to help someone else.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
It's
Giving
fantastic.
back is very important. Yeah, very important. So yeah, but I'm very happy. I'm truly enjoying every minute of my life right now. Every minute of it. You know, like I said, the goal is to one day qualify Gambia to the African Cup of Nations. But in the meantime, I have to be humble, learn from my mistakes, smell the grass, work in these academies, do it every single day, gain experience as much as I can, learn from the past, and make sure I'm well equipped.
Cherno Samba, I've got to say, it's a great pleasure to get you on the podcast or the video cast properly. Said, been a big admirer, a fan of yours, and spend a big bit of time with you is a really real pleasure for me. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Anytime, James. Thanks so much for having me.
My man, thank you.
All right.